Okay, call the regular council meeting for February 8th. Stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Tom Bays.
Yep.
Rita Collins.
Yep.
Ashley Wilson.
Yep.
Mindy Keller.
Yes.
Terry Simpson.
Yes.
And Clerk Lacey Hanson and Mayor Cindy Cruz. Public comments.
It's my turn?
Yes.
I wanted to see how to get this $800 off my water bill for the tree removal.
Oh, boy. Lisa, it was discussed, and Stephanie was kind enough to give you an extension to clear that up.
Stephanie also thought that it was sitting there for more than a year.
It was close to a year.
January 8th is when they took the tree out. I have video of it being taken out.
Well, do you have it on paper, Lacey? January 8th would be in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
I don't think it was done in the winter time.
What tree we talking
Yeah,
The one on
I'm
the
new,
corner.
so can you tell me what's going on?
Do what?
I'm new, I don't know what's going on.
Oh, they took a tree out, January 8th, the city took it out and left it there, so we could cut what we needed. So we did, they told us, I don't know exactly what they told Jack. So we were cutting on it and had a bunch of it cut, and in our yard, when Cindy told me that we needed to get it done, we were getting it done, we left, we came home to them removing it.
And
And then
them is
The Perry. So then Stephanie came over and said that it's been sitting there for more than a year
and the tree came down because,
because the city had them removed.
The duration.
was it the
It
derecho?
came down during the derecho.
No, it didn't.
Well,
This,
okay, but it was a hazard.
They-
And the city took it down.
the city took all the trees down.
Right, because they were hazardous.
Yeah, according to the guidelines, if it did a certain amount of damage to the tree had to come down.
We had a tree that they took down that there was no damage to it.
I don't know about that, but I remember that day because I remember there was a dispute
Right,
over whether you got to keep your wood or not.
right.
So I went down there, I got a phone call, and I rode down there on a four-wheeler
Yep.
in shirt sleeves.
It wasn't January.
So it wasn't, I know it wasn't January.
It wasn't January, but they didn't come back until January 8th.
Well, I don't know, that's when the
Right.
dispute over the firewood was.
Right, and the letter that I got from the city about the junk and debris in my yard didn't say nothing about a tree. A tree trunk and all that is not considered debris. Loose debris.
Well, here's another conversation I remember from that day. It was decided that you got to keep your tree and the wood. And the contractor had a conversation with you,
I didn't have a conversation with Jack.
or your husband, that, listen, if this doesn't get cleaned up, I'm gonna be responsible to come and clean this up. That's from the contractor to you. And it never got cleaned up.
It was
That's-
getting cleaned up.
Well, not within that time.
One person can only do so much.
I'm just saying,
And
that's
that was
how
a
it went
big
down.
tree.
That's just what how
Right.
it went down, because I was there for part of it.
Right.
So, that's what I know about it. How you gonna not pay your 800, that's up to the rest of the council.
And the 800 is.
You have other issues
Tree
down there
removal.
besides that tree.
Okay.
Okay, my
I
question,
had
wasn't the
cars.
tree
That
removal,
was
it
it.
was the
And
removal
your
of the
water
wood that
bill
had
and
been
your-
laying
your
on the
meter.
terrace with nothing done.
You have a lot of issues down there.
I don't have issues with my water bill except for
And the
the
city
installs
has
that's
been
on my
billed
meter.
for
What about
that.
your
Her
meter's
tree,
not
you
reading?
sent her.
My
letter
meter is
saying to
frozen.
Get rid of it.
And I talked to Cindy about it already.
Okay, so there's other
The
issues
tree was
down there besides
down.
that.
Yes.
The wood was
Right.
laying all on
The sidewalk,
easement,
okay,
and she wanted to keep the wood,
okay,
but she had
a certain amount of time,
reasonable amount of time to get that cleaned up.
and then she
When she
didn't.
got an abatement last fall,
Okay.
and Stephanie even gave her an extension to get that
Because I
cleaned
didn't
off
get the
the
letter.
terrace. Pardon?
She gave me the extension because I didn't get the letter, because it went to somebody else. And Perry also
But-
agreed to move the
But
trunk
she
into our yard,
did
and
give
he
you
never came back.
extra time to get it cleared off. I do know that,
And
because
Jack was
I
working
talked
on it.
with her.
And you came by and kept seeing that he was working
But you
on it.
missed the time. She gave you a date.
She said as long as we were working on it.
That was your yard.
That was the tree wasn't in the letter.
Have you got a copy of the letter?
I only have it on my phone.
And when there's an abatement for the property, you can't list out every single little thing.
But are you gonna print it?
We are, have it.
My question is, if the contractor was in charge of getting it cleared up, and they came and took, I mean, why is she getting billed?
Because it was not cleared off the city terrace
Okay,
in the time frame.
And they took it out of my yard too.
There was a deputy standing there.
Yes, and the deputy said that they took it out of the yard.
well, what I'm just saying is if the contractor said that if he doesn't have it cleaned up by this time, he's gotta come clean it up because it's his responsibility to begin with, cause he's getting paid for it. And he got paid through FEMA money, why are we? I can understand charging for the yard or whatever, but for something that was supposed to be paid for, I'm trying to understand.
Because it was an abatement.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand.
She wanted extra, they wanted the wood to burn, which I can understand, you know, a lot of people are burning wood, it's a lot cheaper. But they give her a certain length of time to do it. And the same thing happened to some other trees that was taken over behind Judy Teckenberg's house. There was only supposed to be so many trees over there, taken over there, but the guy that was cutting the trees down took about 8 or 9 of them over there.
He said he wasn't.
And so
Yeah, I know the water bill.
they can pick those up too.
And she got charged?
No, they weren't on her property.
Oh,
They were on behind Judy
That's what I
Teckenberg.
was telling her. She has other issues down there.
you have to remind me.
But
You know,
She's
where
right about one
Dyton
thing,
used
it
to
doesn't
live,
say
Uh-huh.
anything about
right straight across the street.
trees.
Okay.
So,
Because they go by the general nuisance, and if it's a nuisance or needs to be abated, they don't list out every single thing.
Well, if you sent the certified mail, how come she not got it?
The first one, look, the first one I sent on September 20th had the wrong letter in it,
Okay,
and somebody else got her. So I resent it again on September 29th,
okay,
and then we gave her 14 days, we extended it to October 15th.
okay. So she, but she did get a letter, right?
Lisa, have you got a new water meter for your frozen one?
Not yet.
How are you getting water? Are you not getting water?
We haven't had water for a little bit.
What's that mean, a little bit? I mean, have you got water?
I
now?
go and buy water.
So you have no running water in your house at
No,
all?
no.
Since it froze up?
Right,
But it hasn't read since October.
right.
It didn't freeze in October.
I don't know when it froze.
Yeah, well, I know it didn't freeze in
Right.
October. So you need to get a new water meter. I mean, they're looking over your letter right now.
Right,
So while they're doing that, let's do an I just visit for a second. You need to get a new water meter. You can get one here.
right.
The city will charge you for that because it froze due to neglect.
Well, I don't know if it broke. I know it's just frozen right now.
I'm just saying, it's not working, it hasn't worked since October. See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So at that point, you'll be charged for a new meter, you need to get that installed, and within 14 days, you need to let somebody in there to inspect
right.
it.
Good.
Understand that?
Yeah.
I mean, is that fair?
Yeah,
And then we'll deal with that. But that's what I feel you need to do with your water issue, because it did, like I said, it didn't freeze in October.
Right.
Okay? All right. Send that letter, but in each individual case, we should itemize, okay, this part here is why you've been red flagged.
Oh, I read it.
Trees, okay, you got junk car parked, you got you-
Just put a spot in there where it's
individually, case by case, blanket ordinance pertaining to these items. This is what brought attention to your property.
Mm-hmm.
Bingo. I think in the future.
I think that's what it states, that it should be listed.
That's kind of the way I see it.
It should be listed.
It's
Yeah.
what it
The
says.
No.
things that are
What the complaints were about.
yes, I agree.
And general
That's the blanket
loose
ordinance.
debris, that could constitute anything.
Paper cans, boxes.
Logs, tree branches, it could constitute anything. 51(2). That's the code they, right there. That's the one they quoted.
Mhm.
And had- We'll work on it.
No, but we can put it on agenda. We can't act on it, but we can put it on the agenda for next month.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Or we have to have a special meeting before we talk about it.
Yeah, we can do that. We got one coming up on the 19th, right? Didn't I see that in the meetings? Didn't I see that?
That was canceled, it was last month.
Oh, that was last month.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, all right. So let's do that, and then.
May I ask what we decided?
You can't because it wasn't on the agenda to make a decision.
What are you guys talking about? I can't hear.
if we have a special meeting, or else put it on the next agenda.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Move this way.
I can.
So,
She
I
doesn't.
guess let her know where we stand on that.
She doesn't, or at least hard.
And make sure she understands the water meter thing. We'll get her a water meter before she leaves.
Okay,
Bill her for the water meter.
okay.
And 14 days from today, or tomorrow, that she would be required to have somebody come in and inspect it. And you should be able to read that thing in 14 days.
Okay.
At that point, we'll cut it off, you know, for failure to comply.
What would that date be?
The 23rd.
That's what I think. Huh?
Oh, I'm making notes.
Can you see what I did?
I see what you
Okay.
did. Okay, are we ready to move on?
Well, let her know what she needs to do, Lisa.
We have a meter here.
Mm-hmm.
You understand
Yep.
that they're not gonna take any action on your $800 tonight. That has to go on the agenda, it'll be decided at next month's meeting, or on a special meeting, if they set up a special meeting, we can throw that on the agenda. So right now, you've made your case. The water meter case she's gonna get for you, you have 14 days to comply with that. If she can't read that meter in 14 days, I'm gonna suggest we just turn the water off, and then there won't be no question about it. You agree?
Okay.
Ma'am?
Yes,
Okay.
Don't snap.
I didn't smell.
Yes, you did.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, discuss an action on resolution 22-01.
We're done with yours.
Okay.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.
Approval of the fiscal year 23 maximum property tax dollars. Whereas the City Council of the City of Union, Iowa have considered the proposed fiscal year 22 city maximum property tax dollars for the affected levy total. And whereas a notice concerning the proposed city maximum property tax dollars was published as required and posted. Whereas a public hearing concerning the proposed city maximum property tax dollars was held on February 8, 2022. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of Union, Iowa, that the maximum property tax dollars for the affected tax levies for fiscal year 23 shall not exceed the following total. Total maximum levy for affected property tax levies, $111,973. The maximum property tax dollars requested in the total maximum levy for the affected property tax levies for the fiscal year 23 do represent an increase of 14.25% from the maximum property tax dollars requested for fiscal year 22.
Well, this is the most that we can do.
Is that what we normally do every year?
They went years, I think, that they didn't do anything because it wasn't necessary, but it's getting to the point where
We're gonna raise the taxes 14.25%.
the levy, how, not sure exactly how.
And that's just the most that it can be raised, that's not necessarily what it's going to be raised. Because we have to publish our maximum amount.
All right,
So that, say if we were to do it at $90,000 to make it whatever percentage, then if we needed more money, we can't go above that. But we can always go below this, we just can't go above it. So that's why it's the maximum property tax dollars.
okay.
And you can see that, like, it's broke on this page here.
Well, what's the tax levy right as of this year?
That'd be on that third page. It was budgeted,
We're just going up from 97.9 to
111,
111.9.
yeah.
Okay.
And this is making sure that the insurance, liability, property, and self-insurance costs are in there because they weren't. And that's the biggest chunk of it, is, because that's 13.5 right there. At least that's how it's been explained to me.
So basically, it's going from 9.04 up to 10.3.
Mm-hmm.
I make a motion that we go ahead and do this tax increase.
Approve resolution 22,
Yeah. Whatever. The resolution 22. Oh,
Motion, do I have a second? roll vote, Tom Bass,
Yep.
Rita Collins,
Yes.
Ashley Wilson,
Yes.
Mindy Keller,
Yeah.
Carrie Simpson.
Yeah.
Number 7, approval of consent agenda, city council minutes, and library minutes and claims paid.
Consent agenda.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Clerk's report.
Okay. So the clerk's report is correct this time. So are there any questions on it?
You're looking at what claims paid.
No, the clerk's report. This one. Last month I wasn't able to get the books closed, needed some help and couldn't get help after the meeting, so the clerk's report wasn't quite kosher.
So, I just have a
Okay.
question, because I'm using. So the pool operating jumped 42,000 from 2,000. What,
You're not looking at the right
So,
paper.
yep, so there's your ending balance, 64 is over here in your beginning balance. And then this is what the income the pool had.
Okay,
So that's from your lost funds, and then that's the
Okay.
ending balance. So this is last month's. So all of this
okay.
goes over to this column.
Okay, that's what I was just wanting to figure out. Okay, that's what I was just trying to, I knew I wasn't reading something right. And I thought, wow, that jumped pretty big.
Any other questions on the clerk's report? Okay. Sheriff's report, there was 12 calls. Water, wastewater, we don't have a report. Rhonda is on vacation until next week. Then Cindy,
Well,
you got me 2 cents?
getting started on some of these abatements. There's probably a couple we may end up having to,
You're talking about the abandoned houses and stuff, right?
yeah,
Okay.
those. Then there's properties that hopefully we won't have to end up with the attorney involved. But those are next on the list. And there were vehicles moved down here and it was cleared off and it's
Right back again.
full again. So I don't know, we may be wanting to consider just eliminating parking all the way down through there.
I agree to that.
I agree with that.
There's times working on the vehicle, they're out in the traffic,
Mhm.
there's tools laying out on the highway.
They're blocking the highway.
You
I
just,
remember,
you just can't have it.
We had that incident happen before. I think Jerry Rogers was the mayor then. And they said, you cannot be working on your vehicles on the road. Or even in the parking side of the road.
Yeah.
Do we want to put an ordinance on next agenda to leave that no parking?
It's under my agenda
Yeah.
thing. Like I said, we may have a special meeting. There's just, some people are just pushing clear to the limits. And we've got to come up with solutions to get it stopped.
Well, like we were talking earlier, if you get a couple of semis going down that road and you got a farm tractor coming up, there's nowhere for them to go. It's a danger,
Yep.
not only to the tractor, the person driving the tractor, but also to the semi driver. And we don't have enough semi drivers the way it is.
That's how when that pickup was parked half in the road and in the creek overnight, I had to wait for a semi to come through. He was
Yeah,
bigger.
that's just it.
Yeah. He was
See,
bigger.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
They're abusing
Well,
the
by
heck
the
out
time
of
I
it.
got out at work, it was gone.
But it should have been there.
Yeah.
It should have just been called in.
I should've-
Snap a picture, I'm sure you have a cell phone.
Yeah, I should have done that.
And I know some people feel that we're picking on him and them. But they obviously don't care about the safety of the people in town. Or they wouldn't be causing these big explosions in the middle of the night.
Well, they're
Yeah.
traveling and doing them
And-
also right now.
Yeah, well,
And when they're doing it in front of people's residences, around people's
they got no
buildings.
business doing that. That's endangering the whole city.
So, it's been discussed, I can't go into detail on anything, so. And your committees are in your packet.
Can I ask a question about the committee situation?
Sure.
What all is the committee responsible for? I mean,
I'm
Everything.
not laughing at that, I just asked her this the other day, so.
I mean, I'm sure we all have a say in all these areas, but
They, if there's something comes up in, excuse me, in an area that, they're kind of like fact finders.
okay,
And then, let the city know, but it's basically fact finding.
okay. And did you appoint us to these committees, or did we get a volunteer for certain ones?
I appointed.
That's what they usually do is appoint.
Okay. Huh? I'm gonna beat up on you guys in the fire, since I'm on the fire department one, I'm beating up on you.
Do you want some help?
I mean, I have no issues. I am a little confused on the pool committee.
And it may be that we may end up changing some if
Okay.
necessary. There's, I tried to find places to, how do I wanna word it? Make people useful that has the knowledge.
Okay, and with that being said, and you got me on the park committee,
Cause you like the park.
I love the park, I love my community. But, I'm gonna bring up this grant. Because it has to be turned in by the 25th of this month. And it's for the park. I gotta find the right one. And since you two are on the pool committee, there's a grant for the pool.
And I really think it should be turned in.
Will you hand that down to Cindy?
I mean,
Did they ever get that problem fixed with the baby pool up there?
From what I've been told, no. And speaking, of since you guys are on the pool committee, I have a name of a gentleman down in Des Moines that works on pools, and he's willing to come up here, inspect our pool, go through and get a list of what needs to be done, and if it's worth it or not worth it. And we'll have a cost. Because I've been told we don't even have a cost of what it's gonna, to repair
that's
out
what
there.
I've been told.
Well, that's
too.
what I heard too.
And we can't make a judgment on it if we
Well,
don't.
Nathan would be able to
I
speak on
asked
that
Nathan.
more,
He
yeah.
doesn't know.
I asked Nathan. I mean, he knows the pool heater, and my grandson swam up there and he told me how the pool was not heated.
It
So,
wasn't.
now.
And
I've
I
been told
think
about the-
actually it shouldn't have been open with no heat, with no heater.
Certain days it shouldn't be, and
But
from what
that
I was
water has
also
to
told,
stay at a certain temperature.
and what I was also told, the lifeguards up there monitored that, and when it got to a certain degree, they closed the pool.
Did they?
Oh,
They
yeah.
were very
Oh.
good.
There was a lot
Yeah,
of time that pool was
They
closed.
closed it when I told them to.
Yeah.
Because it's the air temperature is what it is, it's not the pool temperature.
So,
But the pool itself, the water has to maintain a certain,
Good Lord, those kids don't care.
some do.
Well, that's not the
Nothing in the
point.
state book that says.
We gotta follow rules.
I know, but
My
But-
thing is there's even a list of some things that need to be, you know,
Sort of these matching
Estimates.
grants or,
to,
I haven't got that far.
this is with Hardin County.
I asked if they were matching grants.
The pool one, if I read it right, I think there was something mentioned about matching grant, which the pool fund has,
Yeah.
but the park one, I don't think I saw anything.
If
And the
it's,
reason-
if it's for this grant, they are matching
Okay, well,
grants.
it doesn't say anything on there, and I don't know. And another reason why
I think you have to
we want
match it by half.
what we had, I mean, this year is our, I can't say the word, 150th anniversary. And the UBA is planning on major stuff for Tar Heels, and cleaning the park, decorating the park, you know, getting flowers down there. That's what that main one, that one is about.
And
They were
I
gonna do
know,
that last year.
we did, we worked 3
Because-
days.
I told Candy, I said, I'm digging all my flowers up, come and get them.
You know,
But
I wasn't here, so.
I
But
wasn't either.
it's our 150th anniversary this year. And the UBA is really planning on lots of stuff for Tar Heel. And I'm also, I don't like speaking for them, but they told me to say, they will be part, they want to be part of the pool, the park. They're part of the
Are
community.
you the spokesman for the union?
Apparently.
Because nobody ever shows up from the,
Well, I did tell the
from the
person that
union
told me to say
betterment.
this, I
They
said,
Well,
just
I
want to
joined-
bitch.
I did tell the person tonight, I said, I'll tell them this, I said, but next
I'm gonna take it
month,
home
y'all,
and look it
someone
over.
better come and represent the UBA. I am part of the UBA, but I don't want to represent the UBA right now.
I am
Because I'm
joining
representing
UBA,
city
but
council.
I haven't, I just got
Don't talk
told
about
the
me.
first meeting is that
About me.
I will join, is the 22nd of this month, so.
Now, why the UBA don't turn those in, I don't know. Not home.
Or would somebody else to do it, not me.
But I mean,
That's kind of the way I figure it. That's
yeah,
what some of these
But-
people do.
We're part of the town, and that's what we're here for, is to help the town, clean up the town. And I think that's what we need to do.
Have we ever gotten funding from these people before, do you know, Cindy?
The Hardin County
Yeah.
Community, yeah.
Yeah,
I know the schools do.
So you have to change that on there.
I mean,
Okay, so this was filled out by the Union Betterment Association, so,
What was it?
The grants,
yeah. So that's who's asking for the money, so what they're asking is, are they part of
they asked me
the
to,
city?
they asked me to show you guys this stuff.
Not part of this city
So
council.
then who would match, if they're applying for it under their tax ID, who's responsible for matching the funds? Then wouldn't we apply for it under our tax ID?
Mm-hmm.
But
Are these copies, Mindy?
Yes,
So I can,
yes,
okay,
yes.
so I can look it over
Take
better.
them.
Um,
I just said I'd present it to you guys.
yeah,
That'd
why
be a
don't you-
question for the League of Cities too, that we could ask.
Yeah.
I really, I mean,
But
it's
there's
gotta be in
grants
by the
out there.
25, but I understand these are matching, so that I understand, but who are we to turn down a grant that's gonna better our community? That's gonna help our community.
Well,
I understand this is match, that is,
Hey, if the money's available, if there's money in there
Yeah.
to do that, I mean, who are we to spend money we don't have?
exactly, yeah, that's what I know, I'm
I
saying.
mean, that's the other side of it.
yeah, because we're gonna have to match that,
I understand that.
and
And if we're
the
doing
city
it,
don't have any money the way it is. So how are you gonna match
Pool
something
does.
with
Pool does.
that, I mean, to operate
Pool
the city?
That I know, I'm just saying,
No,
it's something we need to consider.
no.
Well, yeah,
If I bury it, I'm
But
doing
if we
something
want
else
to
for
keep
those
Union
kids.
thriving,
Nothing for you
then we
guys.
got.
Then we need to keep the
Right.
snow off the streets.
You guys have done a great job, I
Well,
would say.
with broken down equipment, mind you.
we need a new
So-
truck,
Mhm.
we need,
We need a dump truck, a plow truck, a blade for the tractor.
I guess,
I mean, the list goes on and on where we can spend money.
Aye.
Where do we want a tree in the yard or snow off our streets?
Yeah, but also, I don't know, I just moved back here, so I don't know how well things have been maintained. I
not
haven't been.
very well.
So we gotta consider it, it's our part of the fault not being maintained well.
It's not our fault because we
Or
weren't.
that it's 40-year-old truck.
Well, that I understand. No, I'm just saying, I
Yeah.
just moved back here, so I don't know.
Well, they probably at one time had the money to do those things,
And they,
but they didn't do it.
As you said, we need to have a budget and go through all this stuff.
yes,
Right.
And
There's a lot of things, that has to be taken care of. That's
Yep.
all there is to it.
the important thing's gotta be taken care of first.
I mean, there's a time to prioritize stuff.
No?
And too many things have been let go. We have got to, from the collection point out to the lagoons, that all has to be dug up and redone out there. And granted, it doesn't affect part of you, but when you got backflow coming in off the field and it's bubbling into the manholes and it's filling up people's basements,
oh, I understand. That happened to my aunt.
it's something that's got passed off down the years. Our vehicles passed off down the years. Our city shed passed off. Our the sand bunker, the lean-to down at the burn pile. There's our roads. We have a ton of stuff that needs attention.
Oh, I'm not saying that.
And our budget only goes so far, and I will tell you right now that it's getting to the point, if things continue the way they are, you're putting at risk losing your fire department. The library is gonna get hit hard. Ambulance is gonna be gone. So, we're gonna have to make some priority choices. That's just the point. And it's not like it's just been the last year or two that all this has
Yeah,
come
this has
up.
been building for quite some time.
Yeah, they accumulating.
And I don't know, I guess if my house catches on fire, I kind of prefer a fire department in town.
That will respond?
Really? Some people work
And, you know, there is a lot of
No, you
people
guys-
that
you
use that
know I have-
library.
Yes.
I have you guys up,
And
you know that.
when the library gets cut,
Just
the
make sure
fire
it happens at
department
night.
is nonstop getting cut.
And they're gonna need a new truck, they need equipment,
Have
yeah.
we been writing grants?
$24,000.
We just got it.
Troy writes his own.
Troy,
You been writing grants?
Just got one.
Awesome.
Did you?
The money's here now.
Good.
Awesome.
They write them and send them in on their own. That's how the Betterment Committee should do. I mean, I don't know, I've never been involved with a grant, but
yeah, neither.
if they're writing them,
I used to do grants for the fire department down there, but that's a whole different state, so I don't know anything about it.
Well, I don't
But
know.
that was my question, is
If
they're
it's done under,
using
yeah, I don't know.
their tax
That
ID numbers,
What did you do?
wouldn't they be the ones responsible for matching it?
would be my thinking,
And I'd say,
but we need to take a hard look at a lot of things. That's,
I agree,
Okay.
and that's why I'm really
Necessary
interested in this.
things.
Yeah, the thing that was,
the other thing.
the budget thing, workshop thing.
Yep, I can't wait for the workshop.
Oh,
So I can know more,
Oh, yeah.
understand.
reading materials.
Well, she's gonna make,
Yeah, I'm gonna
make
make
me a
a
Oh.
copy.
Okay, you wanna do that afterwards?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I wanna have more time to look it over. We want a copy too.
yeah.
Oh, just wait. All right.
All every number on it.
Yeah,
Okay.
a sit down with the Betterment Committee would go a long way, you know.
February 22nd is their meeting. And I'll mention it to them. I'll watch that.
At 6 p.m. at the golf course.
Yeah, but we can't go represent the city of Union at your meeting, but you can come to this council meeting and represent.
Oh, I'm just saying, I'll mention it to them
You
at the
know.
22nd.
Oh, no, I understand.
Okay, sorry. Sidetracked.
Discuss an action on fire department getting a washer installed. You're up, boys.
Don't look at me.
You got to know how.
I can put it in, that's no problem. What it boils down to is through our grant that we got, we did get a large gear washer so we can clean our gear, which quite frankly needs to be done every so often. More of the carcinogens and stuff that we pick up doing what we do. To install it is not that big an ordeal, really. We do need to break up in the meeting room area to be able to accommodate a drain. And I strongly urge, considering it's a $6,000 washing machine, that we put in a water softener, and we definitely gotta put in a new heater. I've managed to find a water heater that the gentleman kind of owed me a favor, and he is selling me a scratch and net water heater for about $200. It's a $500 water heater. He's also given me a softener for cost, mile wholesale, assuming they're still there. We will have to break out the floor. I don't know the state of the plumbing under the floor. That drain's not been used in a very long time, and that's very much not good for old cast iron, as evidenced of the drains that were under this building and replaced, because those run straight into the fire station. Now, I know it has to have some water that flows through it, because our sink goes away just fine. But we are not gonna know the state of the plumbing underneath that station until we break the floor up. That's just a fact. But all the rest of the plumbing, I mean, I'm happy to come down and help, and a couple of volunteers and get the plumbing done. It's not gonna cost an inordinate amount of money to get it done. The materials can be bought, sourced, you know, I can try for donations, which is difficult, because one of the ones that was more supportive of me is Nella and Ames. The business isn't in Marshtown anymore. but, you know, still, we're talking minimal amount of money to get the water piping and that stuff done. Electrical will have to be done by someone else, because I do not carry a license in that. Not saying I can't do it, I just don't carry a license in it, and insurance purposes will not allow me with my master's license to do it.
No.
So what is the number? What is the cost?
I would have to seriously look into, I mean, we're talking volunteer labor, I mean, we're talking taking out about 8 feet of floor, resetting a new drain, running the drains over. I will install it in such a manner that it will work properly. I will not install it up to IAPMO code. That being, because I'd have to get a roofer involved, because we'd have to put a vent out through the ceiling, because there is no vent on that end of the building. So we will do it in appropriate fashion to make it function well. So we're talking probably material-wise, PVC, get the drain in, concrete back.
Well, why don't you, kind of jot that down and
You're looking somewhere around probably $400 or $500 for the drain, and the PEX piping to put in for the water heater would be in the neighborhood of probably $350.
and what are you gonna use to bust the floor out?
Jackhammer?
You got one?
Yep,
But you got concrete that has to go back in
I
Right.
do it all the time. Ain't no thing but chicken. Nothing.
with Bag Creek.
Yep. That particular bay is never gonna be used for trucks again.
So how much for the water softener?
The softener was 300,
Softener was 600.
600 something, was it? I couldn't remember.
600.
I gave him those figures a while back.
You
Well,
gave who, the council?
The water softener was
Washer was-
600, and
It was like
the water heater was 285.
they need to write down
Yeah.
approximately what
We
it's
already
gonna
had that
cost.
information turned in, didn't
Well, the city won't be paying for it anyway.
we?
The fire-
Is that my understanding, Troy? That the fire department is covering the cost to
Yeah,
put
we
that
will
in?
cover that,
Of what?
putting that,
The whole thing?
The-
You're paying for the whole thing out of your
Yeah,
budget?
we'll pay for that.
They're just wanting council approval to do it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I motion they do it.
I second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Discuss an action on fire department getting the door openers replaced. We have 2 quotes.
They're not in there.
Quotes?
We got them
They're-
last month.
Yeah,
Have one.
You were here.
if you want to pass them around. The one,
Yeah, the other one I
the
just
one
got
wasn't
today.
printed off before. This one was, but that was, what, a month ago? 2 months ago?
One that was outrageous.
So the handwritten amount on the bottom of that one there, Tom, that's photocopied is what the total would be, roughly.
So we're pretty close.
Uh-huh. And the first door quit basically working how far back?
October, I think,
Or was it September, October?
September, October.
End of September, beginning of October.
Yeah.
Give it up.
And the pumper, well, the pumper now, it's starting to go. But
We can't get any zero for anybody.
we can't, you can't fix those. The manufacture date on them is 2003. That's when they were put in brand new. So they've way, I mean,
They've served their
yeah,
usefulness.
these new ones now, they'll have a timer on them. You can set them for however much time, and if we forget to shut a door on our way out, it'll automatically close.
It's quite beneficial in the middle of winter when we take off.
Yeah, there's times we have forgotten. You don't think about shutting the door when you got a house fire.
I've been on fire rescue. That's why you have the next door back.
I did.
Yeah, you
I shut my doors.
You shut your door.
when the house was burning up to my door.
Yeah, you're supposed to be down first.
I got out, and I shut the door. Then I went back in,
Yeah.
had to get my purse.
That is the least of your worries is having to worry about the door.
They'll probably just do it out of their checking. I don't know. I guess
For
we
what?
did, I haven't talked to them about it. So I guess either way, it's there. Oh, you're talking about that. I'm back to the floor again.
I don't wanna pay for yours.
No, we don't wanna pay for that.
Well, have a fundraiser, and then you can pay for it.
But
Right,
with the door openers, the city would cover that because it's city
Let me see that.
buildings.
All those bikers got drunk.
So we have the party.
Only one I remember.
Close, they're pretty close.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So-
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'll make a
Yeah, but
motion.
which one do you want?
That one.
The advanced
Advanced.
power. the
Troy, do
two-
you have a preference who you'd rather work with?
This guy?
When we first got those openers and the doors put in, Advance is the one that did them.
Okay, and you wanna stick with them then?
They never really treated us bad. I mean, the night they come up here to look at them, they were up here like at 8 o'clock at night.
Oh.
To come up here and look at it.
Because either they're close enough, I think
Yeah.
either one of them.
And he does a good job too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They put my garage door in
Yeah, they're
after I
good.
broke it.
Is that in the room? I know.
Oh, well, yeah, Matt knows where he lives. and-
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
I know the dog's somewhere, right?
I second that,
You gotta-
okay. Go for it.
And then you're gonna take care of calling them and scheduling them?
Yeah, I'll
and-
get them called and I got, one of my guys is laid off right now for the winter and
Once you cut them a check, we'll pay you back.
I've heard that one before, Tom. Can I get that in red writing?
Didn't say when you were getting the check, that's the problem, you keep
Right,
messing
yeah,
up.
didn't say what year.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Discuss an action on approval of Troy Wilson as fire chief. That probably should have been on last month. So it probably depends on who all he sweet talked, but.
Didn't talk to
He
me.
hadn't talked to me. Just because we graduated together doesn't
You never
count.
understand when I'm in there.
Well, come in at a decent time.
I work during the day.
So do I.
Doing what? I'm in Marshalltown. You're here. 22-mile difference.
Do you want to be fire chief?
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
Don't snip at me.
Yes, ma'am.
Second?
Okay. Second.
Wait a minute, nobody asked me.
Do you want him as a fire chief, or do you want to be
All
fire
those
chief?
in favor?
Oh, hurry up, they're
Yeah.
voting. Aye.
It was already voted, sorry.
Discuss an action on the city cleanup date. The 29th, wasn't it? I got the wrong tablet again.
You told me the other day.
I talked to Jane Clark.
You might have it, yeah.
No, I'm sure it was April 29th. Yeah.
Yeah.
April 29th works for them. I asked her how it went with doing the 2 roll-offs like we did last year. And she said it went really good. The only thing is we have to kind of babysit them through the night.
Oh, yeah.
And then the hazardous waste.
I haven't got that far.
Is it only one day again?
They'll bring them in Friday and then pick them up Saturday morning, just like they did last year.
Anyway, we could do this twice this year?
Because we all work, like, I can't do anything on Friday.
Well, they're most of the day on Saturday.
Last year, they were gone right
Yeah.
away.
Oh, hell,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 10
Yeah.
o'clock.
Yeah.
You have, what about your neighbors?
I got a man.
What?
We're gonna have more open
She's
yard between us.
volunteering you to haul my garbage. That's what she said.
I got a truck. I can get a trailer.
It's okay, you can borrow my Ford.
Actually, I don't
But you're
have
in
that
work
much.
in Marshalltown, 22 miles away.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's,
Saturday.
for that part would be the 29th. The hazardous waste The thinking is maybe skip this year. Last year they came and they sat and they had very few people bring anything down.
2 or 3 things.
And so they suggested maybe skip a year and try every other year and see what kind of turnout. Because they come from Bondurant.
Yeah,
And to come down and sit
all day.
for nothing, you know.
Well, I brought them some stuff up,
You're probably one of the very few that did.
probably.
I missed it.
I was gonna say we have a bit at Snap.
Yeah, and you might, you know, if you have them down again, you might wanna put a note on something. Don't leave your stuff sitting in front of the fire station.
Station.
Fire department
Yeah.
don't take care of it.
Yeah,
And we had
I just
that
about,
on
I just about took it back to the address that was on the box.
And I know what that address was.
Uh-huh.
wasn't me.
No.
And the thing of it is, when we do this, this is for Union.
Mm-hmm.
And if Witten wants to do it, Witten can do it. Don't be bringing your stuff over and just dumping it here.
Yeah, I was watching when they were coming, people coming in all hours of the night, jumping off stuff that.
Got the dumpsters.
Yeah, that come from that way.
Well, you got people out in the country that bring their stuff in and dump it.
Yeah.
They do the same thing with the rollback that they put out there during the week, when they're picking up cans and bottles and stuff, and throwing garbage in there.
I don't-
We've had that problem for a couple of years now.
So that would give people plenty of notice. I said it'd be nice if we could do it a little later when we know it's gonna be nice weather, but
Yeah,
it doesn't always work that way.
maybe we'll get it.
But I thought by the time you get to April 29th, you're probably fairly safe. And people have time to gather stuff up. Before, they kind of like waited to almost the last minute. And I didn't have time to even look at stuff, you know, it was just boom. But the hazardous
Unless
waste,
they got notice,
you wanna bypass the hazardous waste this year then?
Did you get one?
you know. I would say, I could.
Just skip the hazardous waste. So I need a motion for April
One motion.
29th. Gary,
I'll second it.
all those in favor?
Right.
Opposed? I will get a listing, we might have one from last year too, from Jane as to what is not accepted. I know appliances, you need to make arrangements if you want them taken care of, and there is a fee.
Used to be $20, I don't know.
20.
It's either 20 or
Inflation.
I have to tell you that I
Good one.
got
22.50.
somebody
Yeah.
from Eldora, Iowa Falls. They came to my house, my stepdad is a hoarder of old appliances and stuff, and they came from Iowa Falls, got it for free.
junkers.
And I'm like, that's okay with me. I had it out to where that I didn't have to,
Yeah.
it took
That's
it.
what we used to do here in town. Good time.
Mhm.
Set out your stuff and junkers came and
Yeah,
got
but,
it.
yeah.
Don't do that anymore.
No,
I
because
set
we have
stuff out,
nobody
and
to
by the
help
time
pick
it comes
anything
for
up.
cleanup, it's
Plus, we
gone.
don't, yeah. Okay, discuss an action on setting dates for budget workshops.
You're looking at like next month or something.
No, we're
No,
looking
we-
at now.
Yeah, that's gotta be in by March, don't it?
Yeah, next week and the week after. So Tuesday or Thursday of next week, I'll be here, and then any day the week of the 21st.
Not the
You sure
22nd.
you want to be fire chief? You can't do it.
That's what we wanted for if you can't do it.
I'm looking.
Keep in mind.
We're
They don't listen to me.
Trying to do one daytime one. I know we know some of you work, but
at least try and get through a little bit of stuff so there's not so much. By the time people get off work and you come up here and sit for hours,
You do
you
it like
just-
at 1:30, I could be here. 1:30.
Thanks, guys.
I don't know if that's up
Thank you.
Thanks. We'll talk more since I'm on that committee. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
I'm good anytime.
Thursday, I've got, Reg has got on like, I think 2:30, something like that.
Mindy, are you at Snap every day?
Shut up.
I take
I
it
don't have
that's
to
a
be.
no.
I don't have to, no. I just gotta be there in the morning, because they don't know how to cook, so.
You let me sleep in. You gave me permission.
Any day's fine with me.
Tuesday, good for me.
The 15th.
Oh, that's,
Yeah. Can do that at
I have an appointment in Cedar Falls.
Well, like I said, if we can at least have
Tuesday and Thursday.
even 2 to 3, whatever, and just kind of start going through and then hit another one with either different ones, or if we can get everybody together, however. And it just eliminates a lot of sitting and then you get stressed and your mind doesn't work and
Things get
Blurs.
So
over.
Tuesday
and you start
the
getting
fifth-
confused.
Tuesday the 15th, at what time?
Tuesday, 15th. What time?
I don't know. How early do you guys wanna do it?
Get over with.
10 o'clock?
10?
9:30, 10, I don't care.
10 a.m.
Okay.
And then the next one you said was gonna be on the 17th?
Or it could be the following
Yeah,
week,
the
too.
following week would be better, cause won't be so restricted on my hours. I won't have kids that
You
week.
wanna have it the 22nd?
No.
That way it'll give you a.
No,
No, we want to get going on this.
I can't come anyways, I have to work.
no, the next one's gonna be a nighttime one, right?
Oh yeah, not the 22nd then. It's my daughter's birthday, I'm not.
And it's
You
the
can bring
UVA.
cake.
Because it's
We'll do it the
2,
same day,
22,
do it
22, it's a
Thursday or
special day.
Friday, Same
And
week.
tacos.
The
We're going
24th,
to
the
the corner.
24th?
24th, I know that we have a doctor's
Oh,
appointment
that's-
names.
And what about the 23rd?
You know, we still have plenty of time then.
Mm-hmm.
23rd?
Wednesday.
Time?
How soon can you two get here? If we do it on the 23rd.
I'm home by 4:30.
Okay.
Five.
That works for me.
Right?
So
I will.
the 15th.
Yeah, I can't make the 15th.
Well, that'll be the morning one.
Yeah.
And that'll probably just be me fumbling around on the computer, quite honestly.
Hopefully we can go smooth and just have it done with those two. That would be sweet. Okay, we got that done.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.